Hi guys, and today we got a new snapshot for the next update for Minecraft, and I will try to cover up everything added in that snapshot. As in the snapshot that got added 3 weeks ago, we got a more of a command snapshot today. That means many new command changes. First one change. Jukeboxes now emit a note particle above them while playing a music disc to match bedrock. Accessibility. Added a new option in the accessibility menu called damage tilt for controlling the amount of camera shake when being hurt. Added a tooltip in the keybinds screen that specifies which keybinds are conflicting. Notification display time accessibility option was renamed to notification time and quad. Updated create new world screen. Tabs can be switched with the keyboard by pressing Ctrl plus Tab and Ctrl plus Shift plus Tab. Specific tabs can also be navigated to by pressing Ctrl plus Tab number. For example, Ctrl plus 2 navigates to the second tab. Added a screen to easily enable/disable experimental features. The screen can always be found under the More tab. In snapshots, a shortcut button can be found under the Game tab. Creative menu changes. Added painting variants to the creative menu. Paintings with predefined variants will now display author and title in description when hovered over. Technical changes. Added display entities for flexible display of items, blocks and text. Added a damage command for applying damage to entities. Added PID file argument to dedicated server command line for printing process to file. Added the following game events. Entity_dismount with a vibration frequency of 6. Entity_mount with a vibration frequency of 7. Added a group of entities to display items, blocks and text. Added execute summon to allow customization of a newly spawned entity. Display entities changes. 3 new entities have been added for flexible display of items, blocks and text. Those entities, similarly to markers, don't tick and have no collisions or physics. Models render at entity position, with normal rotation around X and Y axis, so it can be controlled by teleport commands, but also with additional arbitrary model transform. Common data types. Tag contents for those entities include some new data types with complex structure. Any form can be used for modifying data, but only one form is used for saving. Rotation. Quaternion form, used for saving. Array of 4 numbers, describing components, X, Y, Z, W. Axis angle form, object with following fields, axis, 3D vector. Angle, in radians. Transformation, arbitrary affine transform. Matrix form, array of 16 numbers, describing row major matrix. Decomposed form, used for saving. Object with following fields, translation, 3D vector. Left_rotation, right_rotation, rotation. Scale, 3D vector. Transforms are composed in order translation, left_rotation, scale, right_rotation. Interpolation. Some properties of display entities can be interpolated. That means that clients will see gradual changes over time instead of instantaneous jumps. Display entities keep track of current and previous values of interpolated values. All properties marked as interpolated are part of a single interpolation set. Any update to interpolated property will cause all values of interpolation set to be saved as current and quad. Data command executions that do not change the value of property, even if it's present in NBT, do not count as updates. Updates are synchronized to clients at most once per tick, so multiple updates within command will still count as a single update. Previous current values are saved as previous and quad. If interpolation is enabled, the entity will transition between previous and current values over time. Start of interpolation, entity fully in previous state, is defined by field interpolation_start, game time, in ticks. Set to -1 to load current game time instead. End of interpolation, entity fully in current state, is defined as interpolation_start plus interpolation_duration, in ticks. Common properties. Every entity in a family has the following fields. Transformation, transformation applied to the model, after normal entity orientation. Defaults to identity. Interpolated billboard, option to control if entity should pivot to face player when rendered. Fixed, no rotation, default. Vertical, entity can pivot around vertical axis. Horizontal, entity can pivot around horizontal axis. Center, entity can pivot around center point. Brightness, if present, overrides light values used for rendering. Omitted by default, which means rendering uses values from entity position. Object has 2 fields. Sky, value of skylight, 0, 15. Block, value of block light, 0, 15. View_range, maximum view range of this entity. Actual distance depends on client-side render distance and entity distance scaling. Default value 1.0, roughly the same as Fireball. Shadow_radius, size of shadow. Defaults to 0, no shadow. Interpolated. Shadow_strength, strength of the shadow. Controls the opacity of the shadow as a function of distance to block below. Defaults to 1. Interpolated. Width, height, Describe size of culling bounding box. Bounding box spans vertically y to y plus height and horizontally width/2 in all directions from entity position. If either field is set to 0, culling is disabled. Both default to 0. Glow_color_override. Override glow border color. Defaults to 0. Use team color. Item display. Displays a single item stack. Stack can be changed with commands by setting slot inventory.0 fields. Item stack to display. Same format as in inventory. Example. id. Minecraft dirt, count, 1. Item_display, describes item model transform applied to item, as defined in display section in model JSON. Values, none, default, third person _left hand, third person _right hand, first person _left hand, first person _right hand, head, GUI, ground, fixed. Block_display, displays a block state, does not display block entities, even if they would normally be created on block placement, like chest. Fields, block_state, block state to display. Same format as item held by Enderman. Example, name, Minecraft dirt and quad. Text display, displays a text component. Fields, text to display. Components are resolved with the context of the display entity. Line_width, line width used to split lines. Note, new line can be also added with \n characters. Defaults to 200. Text_opacity, opacity, alpha component, of rendered text. Defaults to 255. Interpolated. Background, color of background. Includes alpha channel. Defaults to 0 by 40 million. Interpolated. Default_background, if true, rendering uses default text background color, same as in chat. Defaults to false. Shadow, should text be displayed with shadow. Defaults to false. C_through, should text be visible through blocks. Defaults to false. Alignment, how text should be aligned. Values, center, default, left, right. Note, text display backgrounds use new shader types rendertype_text_background and rendertype_text_background_C_through. Damage types. Damage types are a new registry that can be extended through data packs. A damage type determines how damage is handled by the game. This includes which attributes the damage has as well as which death message is used when an entity dies due to that type of damage. Example, exhaustion, 0.1. Message_id, arrow and quad. Scaling, when _caused_by_living_non_player, fields, message_id. The message id used for deaths caused by this damage type will be combined with other string fragments to form a translation key. Exhaustion, the amount of hunger exhaustion caused by this damage type. Scaling, whether this damage type scales with difficulty levels. Possible values, never, damage is always the same. Always, damage always scales with difficulty. When _caused_by_living_non_player, damage scales with difficulty if it was caused by a living entity who is not a player. Effects, optional field controlling how damage manifests when inflicted on players. Possible values, hurt, default, the default hurt sound. Thorns, thorns hurt sound. Drowning, drowning sound. Burning, a single tick of burning sound. Poking, berry bush poke sound. Freezing, freeze tick sound. Death_message_type, optional field that controls if special death message variants are used. Possible values, default, default, no special death message logic is applied. Fall_variants, show a variant of fall damage death instead of a regular death message, for example death.fell.assist.item. Intentional_game_design, show the intentional game design message instead of a regular death message. Damage type tags control many aspects of how damage from different sources are interpreted. Commands, damage, new command to apply damage to entities. Syntax, damage target amount, damage type, at location, damage target amount, damage type, by entity, from cause. Parameters, target, the entity to damage. Amount, amount of damage to inflict. Damage type, the type of damage to inflict. This determines how the damage affects the entity as well as which death message is displayed. Entity, the entity inflicting the damage. Cause, the cause of the damage, in the case of indirect damage. Example, when shot by an arrow, the entity is the arrow projectile while cause might be a skeleton. Location, the location the damage originated at, when no entity caused the damage. For instance, location might represent the location of a bed exploding in the nether. Execute summon, new execute subcommand for summoning new entity and binding context, at S, to it. Meant to simplify entity setup and reduce need for raw NBT editing. Execute summon entity id. Predicates, damage type predicates. The following fields have been removed from damage type predicates: is_projectile, is_explosion, bypasses_armor, bypasses underscore invulnerability, bypasses underscore magic, is underscore fire, is underscore magic, is underscore lightning. A new tags array has been added. Each entry has two fields, id, the ID of a damage type tag, expected, whether the damage is expected to have or not have the tag for the predicate to match. Game rules. Added do vines spread game rule, determining if vines will spread to nearby blocks. Defaults to true. Some bug fixes for everyone. These are the things that got fixed, not added. Z fighting can be seen on leggings and boots worn by entities. Both text background setting strings are overflowing the buttons. In some languages, text is too long and escapes buttons. Opening a minecart with hopper provokes piglins, even though opening a hopper doesn't provoke them. Skulk sensors do not detect item frame, glow item frame interactions. Skulk sensors are not activated upon placing glowstone into respawn anchors. Skulk sensors are not activated upon filling composters. Skulk sensors are not activated upon trampling farmland. Skulk sensors are not activated upon mounting or dismounting any non-biological entities. Skulk sensors are not activated upon sheep being dyed. Skulk sensors are not activated upon closing chest boats, chest rafts, or chest minecarts. Skulk sensors are not activated upon attaching or removing leads from entities. Skulk sensors are not activated upon collecting books from lecterns. Skulk sensors are not activated upon harvesting glow berries from cave vines. Skulk sensors do not detect turtles laying an egg. Text can appear outside of buttons in the keybinds menu when assigning keys to functions or when multiple functions are assigned to the same key. Skulk sensors are not activated upon using shears on cave/twisting/weeping vines or kelp. The simulation distance text can appear outside of its slider. Skulk sensors are not activated upon villagers working with composters. Text can appear outside of the device button within the music and sound options menu. No gear equipping sound or subtitle when a shield is placed into the offhand slot. Skulk sensors are not activated upon frogs laying frog spawn. Skulk sensors are activated when interacting with fences while holding leads. Swapping an armor piece with an armor piece of the same type doesn't play its equipping sound. The warden does not deal the same amount of damage to the player and entities in difficult mode. Fire charge isn't in the ingredients tab in creative inventory. The notification display time text can appear outside of its slider. Using /ride on an entity in another dimension causes client/server desync. The damage tilt effect isn't accessible friendly. Using the /ride command on invalid entities teleports players to their position. Blocking attacks with shields causes the damage tilt to play and red damage tint to show. /execute if loaded alone always fails. Argument error messages for low values are inconsistently spelled. An Enderman ridden with /writing constantly teleports if the player looks at the Enderman's eyes. The execute on owner subcommand does not select the owner of a horse, donkey, llama, or mule. The select world.map-features.info string is missing a comma after the word shipwrecks and quat. Single missing pixel in chestplate_trim item texture. Can't shift-click items into the second anvil slot. Loot table for Hoglin stable chests uses the loot table for bridge chests instead. Empty_slot_amethyst_shard does not show in the smithing table slot. Curse of binding armor can be removed by swapping armor with a right click in the hotbar. The color palettes for iron and iron_darker trims are flipped. The lightest three colors of iron and iron_darker color palettes are identical. That's all for the changes in this snapshot. See you next time. Bye.